What is up, disc golfers? Today on Iceberg TV, we are going to be wrapping up AGL Week. AGL Week's been a ton of fun, and I had the owner of AGL Week make me a few pre-recorded videos that I can use in this wrap-up video to really fully explain to you guys why the AGL Discs mission is important, why growing more trees is important, and why using as much recycled materials as possible for our disc golf discs is important. So I'm going to show you guys my 5 favorite AGL discs, tell you why I like them, maybe why you might like them, and then play those clips in between so you guys can see why the discs are good and then why the mission is good. So I want to get started off with my favorite AGL putter, and I know their most popular, one of their most popular discs is the Ponderosa. That did not make my top 5, unfortunately, but what did make my top 5 is the Douglas fir. I had this Amy Lewis premium alpine fir, and then this baseline fir. And the fir is such a good disc when you want to just have a throwing putter that you know you can rely on. The premium firs, I guess, are a little bit harder to get your hands on, but it's one of those putters that you can just throw hard and flat, and it's just going to go laser beam straight, torque resistant, stable putter, comfortable in the hand, easy to throw, not too domey, not too flat, just a good overall point and shoot putter that's not going to burn and turn on you, and it's also not going to be super overstable and hyzer out on you. Now, I call this my flippy fir. This is the one that I would throw on hyzer, let it flip up, and just basically carry straight through the entire flight. We'll go stable fir and then flippy fir so you guys can see the flights. So you can see hard and flat, goes nice and straight. I'm throwing into a pretty fat headwind, and it just still carried straight even though there was a headwind. Now the flippy fir definitely needs a little more hyzer than that. But you can see, throw it on hyzer, flips up, goes straight. Threw that one pretty soft, massive headwind. Still stands up to the headwind.
Hey everyone, my name is Josh. I'm the owner of AGL Discs. So one thing that we do different is that all of our discs are made with recycled plastic. Now that can be anywhere from 20% all the way up to 60%. And the remainder of that difference is going to be made with regrind. So regrind is when we're taking old discs or old plastic, grinding that up, and then mixing that in to make our new disc. So we still consider that recycling, although it's not technically considered recycling in the definition or the proper terminology of the word recycling. But what we are doing is we're reducing the amount of waste that goes into the landfill. And just like Captain Planet said, reduce, reuse, recycle. And we're doing a huge part of that by reducing a ton of plastic that's going into the landfill, and we're reusing a bunch of that. And so in our way, we're using as much recycled plastic as possible, and then on top of that, we're using regrind, which is another way to reduce and reuse plastic. So that's one of our biggest commitments at AGL Discs, and we hope you can join us.
Now the second disc I want to talk about is the Magnolia. The Magnolia is, in my opinion, a pro-level mid-range that comes in a few plastic options. It's one of those mid-ranges that you can just smash hard and flat. It's going to carry straight through most of the flight, but will almost always have a stable right to left finish on a backhand at the end of the flight. The flight numbers are 5602, and if you get the baseline plastic, it's 5502. And one thing I like about AGL is they take the time to actually adjust the flight numbers. If they notice that, a specific run flies differently from one another, then they're going to let you know with the flight numbers to the best of their ability. So you can see the premium one's got a little more dome, the baseline one's a little more flat, and so it's got one less glide because of it. And I was a little skeptical at first, but after going and throwing these for the week, I definitely agree that this one is less glidey, and it's due to the flatness of the disc. So we're going to throw the premium Magnolia first, but this was one of my go-to discs pretty much all of AGL week, and I really enjoyed throwing the Magnolia. So stiff headwind, hard and flat. And you can see, I can just trust that basically anything around 300 feet.
Another cool thing that we do at AGL is we make sure that we plant a tree in your name for every single disc that you purchase. Even if you were to purchase a bag or a Frisbee, we make sure that we plant a tree for you. You can take home a seed at checkout by clicking a box and making sure that you get a seed that corresponds to the disc that you purchased, or you can accept an email after your purchase that comes from Tree Nation, and we'll actually plant a tree in your name.
The next disc that I want to go over with you guys is probably my favorite AGL mold. It is the Spruce. The Spruce for me flies exactly like the Magnolia, but maybe just slightly more overstable at the end, but a little bit more reliable when I'm really trying to score well and throw the disc that I know I can most count on. The Spruce flies like the Magnolia for me, but feels slightly more comfortable in the hand. To me, it feels like a slightly more comfortable buzz. I would definitely say that I like this disc more than a buzz. A little bit more reliable for me, feels a little bit better in the hand, and the Alpine Spruce, really great disc. Same thing, hard and flat. You'll be able to see how reliable it is. I even accidentally got over on it a little bit. You can see that yellow Magnolia over there. Spruce went just a little bit farther, but also a little bit more overstable. So good glide, good stability, pro level mid-range.
With over 120 different foil combinations, and we're one of the few, I think only 5 manufacturers that can do registration type stamps. We have some of the coolest stamps in the market.
Now this video wouldn't be a proper AGL review if I didn't pick at least one fairway driver and one distance driver. And one disc that I had a funny relationship with was the Locust right from the very beginning. The flight numbers were 9-4 -1-3. So I was hoping that this would be like my flex forehand, like Firebird type disc. But this specific metal flake run flies a lot flippier than the numbers would advertise. And I spoke with the owner of AGL about this, and he was telling me that this run just came out flippier, and he offered to send me another one, but I actually really like this one for hyzer flips and woodsy shots. So I just release it pretty much just really hard on hyzer, turns in the mid-flight, and then fades at the end. Really great fairway driver. If you can get a hold of one of these metal flake ones, you'll have the flippy one, and then get any other Alpine run, and you'll have a stable one. So you can have a flippy one and a stable one. And that's something I really enjoy when I'm throwing a new brand, is being able to throw different runs and getting different flights. So release it on a lot of hyzer, bit of height. So you can see mid-flight turn and then a good fade at the end. And it probably went 20 to 30 feet farther than the Magnolia and the Spruce.
Another thing that we do different at AGL is we make sure that we hand cut every single sheet of foil so that every single disc has a different foil on it. We never want to have a same or a duplicate or a twin out there. We want you to always be styling, always be fresh, and having the most unique and one-of-a-kind discs out there on the market. So that's our goal, to make sure that we always give you something unique.
Now my favorite distance driver from AGL was going to be the Redwood. I also had a bunch of cedars. I like the cedar as a utility disc, but it is way too overstable for me to use for any distance shots. If you saw my video at Hornet's Nest, hole 2 at Hornet's Nest, I threw my cedar like full power, and I wasn't able to throw it 260 feet across the water. This Redwood does not have that problem. This thing is a bomber. It's got a lot of turn in the mid-flight. You can throw it really hard, slight hyzer, just give it a little height, and you're going to get super distance out of it. So we got the Alpine Redwood here. So you get that nice mid-flight turn, but a mostly, straight enough flight. Big distance, easy carry. That's one of the easiest distance drivers I've ever thrown to actually get big distance. But just to wrap things up, I really enjoyed working with AGL Discs. I'm going to revisit them for Earth Day. We're going to go out, we're going to plant trees. Anyway, that's Iceberg TV, AGL Week, all done. Thank you for watching, and take care.